What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to another one of my favorite type of videos. We have asked the good folks on Instagram to give myself and James some of their unpopular opinions about Liverpool's rivals. So let's see what they have in store. Connor is going to read them out to us. Myself and James have not seen any of these. And look, as always, we want your support here in Anfield Agenda. Let us know your thoughts on what we speak about, but most importantly, drop a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button as well. Right, let's get going. Connor, what have you got for us?
Antonio Conte will fail at Spurs.
I think that's a big possibility. Like, if you had to put money on that, like, that's absolutely... Just because the combination didn't seem right at the time that it was, and he's not really a long-term manager, and Spurs need a long-term manager to be able to get them out of the state that they're in. The best player of the past 5 or 6 years is clearly not happy. He's not in the same form. Even players like Heung-min Son, who I rate very, very highly... He always has had a tendency throughout his Premier League reign to have a very, very good spell, but then have a bad spell where he goes 4 or 5 games without a goal. In this season, that was not the season for him to do that. The defence is shaky, the midfield is overrated with the likes of Højbjerg and stuff like that. I don't care how good of a manager you are. If the players are shit, the players are shit. And if they're not playing for the badge, then it's just not going to end well. I can see him maybe being gone possibly in the summer, but they have to invest into him, and for Spurs fans' sake, I hope that's not what they do, and I hope Conte, for their sake again, is ready to ride it out, because he's going to have to, Craig. That's my opinion.
I think whoever sent this in, James, didn't read the memo, because this is not an unpopular opinion. This is more of probably a factual statement, because what you've said is right there. Antonio Conte, he said it himself during the week. He basically came out and said, I didn't realise quite how shite this group was. That's basically what he said, let's be honest. He worded it a little bit differently than I did, but that's what he said. I didn't realise how big the job was. I was just focusing on the check. That's what I heard here.
Everything without the word shit, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, he can remove all the tomato ketchup he wants. It's not going to make a difference. So, yeah, I'd say that person got a spot on, personally.
Ben Chilwell is overrated. He can only play in a back 5.
Oh, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. That is unpopular. I'm going to jump straight in on this one. Ben Chilwell is a damn good player. He is. I mean, to take the ease of which he's moved from Leicester to Chelsea, unseat Marcus Alonso, I think he's a good player, Ben Chilwell. I don't think he's limited to the setup in a back 3 or a back 5. I think Ben Chilwell, I think he's damn good. So I'm going to say that is an unpopular opinion, and I rate Chilwell.
So, I think Ben Chilwell is a great individual player, but I can understand why maybe some would ask this question, because I believe when he was at Leicester, he was in a very similar system. He wasn't regarded as one of the best young left-backs in the league. You know, there was kind of a possibility there, but we didn't really know for sure. When he first joined Chelsea, a lot of people thought it was overpriced. He did have a shaky start to his career under Chelsea, if you do remember correctly, Craig, but of course that can always be the Lampard tax. That being said, I have to disagree with that personally, because this season, I don't care if it's in a back 5, a back 4, really could not give two shiny shites. Ben Chilwell has been the best left back in the league and possibly even in the world, or there and thereabouts. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's a great player, but I do think, even though I disagree with the unpopular opinion, that there may be just a paquito bit of substance. Only time will tell.
Is there anything, though? Let's just keep going here for a second. I know you like to put on your devil's avocado hat, but let's keep talking here. It's not his fault what system the manager implements. Of course. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's down to Ben Chilwell, and I think I think that whoever this person was being a little bit overcritical, because Chelsea have a style that works for them, and he's a big part of that. So I think he's adapt, I think. But he's a good player. I think we both agree he's a very good player.
Great individual.
Lukaku isn't a top-level player.
That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I mean, Lukaku, even though he might not be the Lewandowskis of this world, the Luis Suarez's, how do you... if you said Lukaku isn't an elite player, fair enough, and maybe I'm getting the descriptive words that you're using just mixed up in my brain, but Lukaku is a top player. He was a big part of Inter Milan winning the league last season. He was even a top player in the Premier League, regardless what you want to say. He was in a pretty mediocre Manchester United side, still got goals. Everton side still got goals. Even all the way back to West Brom, Craig, and my man scored 18 Premier League damn goals. So I am sorry, I have to disagree with the notion that Lukaku isn't a top player. The numbers prove it. I think over time he's improved overall as a player, and I do have to put him in the category as a top player for sure.
I'm torn on this one, I have to say, because he's certainly improved. When he went to Inter Milan, he improved dramatically. And what you said, that spell he had at West Brom was phenomenal as well. But I wonder, is he too limited at times? I mean, you can say to me Harry Kane's a fox in the box anyway, but I would say that he can also come deep, link up. He's multifaceted. With Romelu Lukaku, I think there are some truths to the phrases like a flat track bully. Does he do it on the biggest of occasion? Will he do it on the biggest of occasion? I think that will be seen as the season goes on. Didn't live up to it at United when he was at a big club there.
But the only where I'm going to disagree with you on is that, for example, a world-class player who I'm sure me and you will say besides this season is world-class, Harry Kane, he's never really done it on the big stage either. When he was in the Champions League final, I thought he was one of Spurs' most underperforming players on the day. Lukaku, you know, he hasn't had many big games himself. When he plays the top six, he doesn't really do a hell of a lot. But we're talking about a top player, and I just feel like sometimes, even though I'm not a big stat merchant, his numbers are undeniable. And you've got to look at the context of the Manchester United that he was playing for, the context of the Everton side that he was playing for. Not great sides. This is a striker who was crucial to Everton getting fifth the season we got second, and he's only improved, as you've mentioned. So that's where I'm just going to try and throw a caveat into the argument that you've just put up. I do think he is a top player, even though he does underachieve in big games.
He's not a top player for a couple of reasons, but one more I'll throw in before we finish up is he's never been linked to the Real Madrids, to the Barcelonas. They've never wanted to know. They've never had any interest in Romelu Lukaku.
I think that's harsh, but that's why it's an unpopular opinion. You know what I mean?
Still a very good player. Still a very... I mean, I'm putting him up there against the elite. You know, the very, very, very best. The Lewandowskis of this world, and I don't think he's in that bracket.
Bruno Fernandes is clear of De Bruyne.
Clear, not from football. We could be talking about football here. Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe golf. I don't know if Bruno likes a bit of golf, but to say that he's clear of Kevin De Bruyne is absolute nonsense. Not to mention that Bruno's numbers have for sure been better. But again, I like to talk about context. Bruno, before Cristiano Ronaldo joined, was a striker. United fans like to talk about, oh, Bruno's a midfielder, he's a striker. He plays higher for yous than what Firmino did for us. And Firmino's supposed to be our number 9. If you look at the average position of what they played last season, Firmino was way deeper. So I'm not trying to take away the passing brilliance that Bruno brings, the shooting brilliance that he brings, his creativity, but he doesn't work as hard as Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think he's as good as passing as Kevin De Bruyne, and I think that's shown with the assists. Even shooting, I think that's really up for debate. So if you want to break down the individual attributes of a player, I think De Bruyne's better, and I think De Bruyne's been better over a longer period of time, so no, that's nonsense for me.
I echo everything that James said. I'd go even further to say we've often heard the phrase one season wonder thrown around at some of our players. Well, look, Bruno Fernandes, right now, he's doing jack shit at Manchester United. Yep. He's not really getting a look in for Portugal, and all he seems to be doing more and more as the weeks go by is moaning, complaining. Yeah, for me, Kevin De Bruyne, I think that's massively disrespectful to Kevin De Bruyne. 100%. I mean, I cannot tell you the esteem and regard I hold that man in. He is the closest thing to Steven Gerrard I think I've seen in the Premier League. And to mention, as James said, the longevity of what Kevin De Bruyne has done, to go and rebuild from not getting the look in at Chelsea, to go to Wolfsburg, to come back and do what he has done. Bruno Fernandes can play the rest of his life and he still won't be fit to lace Kevin De Bruyne's boots in my eyes.
Chelsea won't lose another game this season.
Well, they're playing us, so of course they will.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm happy for Craig to have the answer there, because it's still way too long to even suggest that Chelsea won't lose another game, especially when they've just drew against Manchester United, the worst Manchester United side that we've saw in a long time. So yeah, they will lose another game this season.
I think Chelsea's fear factor has been blown out of all proportion by some people on social media. I mean, they're a good side, they're a very good team, very, very efficient. But they're not invincible, you know. They can frustrate themselves at time, and they've got some players going through real purple patches right now. So for me, look, I don't think they're capable of going on a run of 10 wins in a row, whereas we know Manchester City and Liverpool are capable of it. So I think they'll be there or thereabout for the title race, but they're going to lose games.
I agree.
West Ham will establish themselves as a solid top 6 side in the years to come.
I mean, it's difficult to know, because who knows if another owner like Newcastle's owners are going to come in and throw a whole load of money and change the football landscape again. They've certainly got a good thing going on right now, West Ham. They've certainly gotten over the move from Upton Park to the new stadium. They've got a good manager in. They've always had a good academy system at West Ham that can churn through some good players. And clearly David Moyes has a good scouting system in place as well. So I think there's every possibility they could.
I actually have to agree with Craig, and even the little doubt that you had there, Craig, with like, oh, but Newcastle could come into the equation, you know, when Everton sort out their situation and can spend more money, maybe they jump back into it. I think, you know, you still can't even write off Leicester because they have established themselves, I feel, as a top 6 side. Arsenal, still a huge club. Tottenham, I'll be honest, I'm going to say no. I don't think they will. I think they're having a great season right now. I think next season they could have a good year, but it's only a matter of time before the richer clubs in Tottenham, in Arsenal, start to go ahead in the pecking order. Not to mention teams like Aston Villa, who are building something there. So I just think, even though for the near future they're going to do well, to say that they're going to be there in 5 years' time would be very ambitious for me. So I'm going to say they're not going to be a top 6 side in years to come.
I'm probably a little bit biased in here though, because of all the London clubs, they're the one that I think I can take the most of. With West Ham,
handle them. They're bearable.
I see them as salt of the earth kind of supporters, proper working class folk, and I have a lot of time for West Ham as a football club. So maybe that might be more wishful thinking from my perspective. Because of all the London clubs, they certainly be the one that I'd be more favourable towards.
United won't get top 4.
So what was the name of this video again? Unpopular opinions?
I don't think the fans got the memo for this one, Craig.
Am I on the United stand again? What's going on? Like, no, mate. Look, they have a chance of doing it, but they certainly have no God-given right this season to be in the top 4. They're gonna need to get their finger out.
I don't care how good Rangnick is. He's not going to be able to get Pogba to press. He's not going to be able to get Bruno to press, or Cristiano Ronaldo for that matter. I don't think it's the right fit for them. I think he's a great coach, but I don't think it's the right fit for them. He's an interim manager. You know, people talk about how he's found Kanate, Mane, Matip, and all that at the teams that he's been at before, which is great and all, don't get me wrong, but he's probably not even going to get control in a transfer window, which, by the way, is still a long way to go, because I don't see them buying significantly in January. I believe Man United are going to be very satisfied with the money that they've spent when you look at it from an owner's point of view. So no, I don't think they'll get top 4. They've had a terrible start to the season, and I don't think that improves significantly.
I may be wrong here, but I think Rangnick has won 1 trophy as a manager in his career. I could be wrong on that one, but I have a feeling I might be somewhere close to it. So, look, another thing I would say is I rate Ralph Rangnick as a coach. I'm not going to disrespect the man. Sure. He's a very, very well-respected person in the world of football, and I think it's an astute appointment for Manchester United. My worry is, will he get the buy-in quick enough to salvage this season for them? And I don't think that you can implement a gegenpressing system overnight. Even with Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, with the players we had like Lallana and Firmino who would do the hard yards, I don't know if Ralph Rangnick could be able to install that at United, and I don't know if he will get enough leeway from those above him to really implement those changes and put a few faces out with what he wants to do. So yeah, and I hope they don't. Of course they do. I'd love to see what the situation unfold if Ronaldo was playing the Europa League. Imagine Ronaldo, James, next season, you know, coming back to United and then ending up in the Europa League.
It's why I respect Ronaldo, because he actually literally carried this Manchester United team out of the group stage this season. So that could have been a possibility this year, but I think it's definitely a possibility for next year, because I can see many teams in the Premier League being stronger than them. I just don't think they're that good.
Shoo!
Jordan Henderson is better than Jorginho.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Jordan Henderson is multifaceted. Jordan Henderson can play in the 6. Jordan Henderson can play in an 8. Jordan Henderson can do a lot of things that Jorginho cannot do. Jordan Henderson has an engine that Jorginho could only wish for. I love
praise
how
to
dare
Jesus.
They disrespect Jordan Henderson. He doesn't get the respect
Praise
he deserves.
to Jesus. And the reason why England never won the Euros is because Henderson never started.
James, let's just put this straight. He will be massively underrated and disrespected by opposition fans consistently, but Jordan Bryan Henderson is absolutely mint.
Greatest captain in the league and one of the best captains in the world, without question. I feel like the disrespect that he gets is actually very laughable, because it tells me about the lack of knowledge from many other fans, because they don't see what he brings. They think, he has to be doing the fancy passes and stuff like that. He's a good passer, and I always say this with Henderson, he might not be world class at any one thing, but the consistency he brings, the fact he's good at everything, and like you said, how versatile he is and how he covers for other positions. I think if you take Jorginho out of Chelsea, that will not have the impact that it would on Liverpool if we were to take Henderson out of our system. I'm just going to leave it there. Absolutely, 100% Henderson is better than Jorginho.
Jorginho doesn't get in our
midfield. Not a chance. Not above Henderson, not above Thiago, not a chance.
Bernardo Silva is the most underrated player in the league.
Yeah, we were only talking about this. Yeah, we were only talking about this actually when we were doing our predictions. And Bernardo Silva, I don't like him because of the whole Guard of Honor thing, but I do have to say he is putting in a shift this season for Manchester City, and I do think he's been underrated a little bit. So I think there's an element of truth. Maybe not the most underrated, because people are aware he's a damn fine footballer, and he had big shoes to step into there to fill, the void left by David Silva, as an example, after he left. But he's a very tidy footballer, Bernardo Silva, that he is. He's good.
I think we've just touched on who the most underrated footballer in the Premier League is, and I really do think it's Jordan Henderson, because people talk about him like he's a schmuck, like he's nothing, and that he's got no ability and this, that and the other. So I always say Jordan Henderson's the most underrated player in the league, maybe besides Liverpool fans, but Liverpool fans don't complete the overall Premier League fan base. So I always go with Jordan Henderson, but I can see where he's coming from with that notion.
Edouard Mendy is overrated.
Oh, difficult one, this.
Right, I'm going to start off with this one. Yes, but not bad. He's a very good goalkeeper, but people are saying he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Absolutely not the case. The reason why Alisson is better than keepers like Edouard Mendy and Ramsdale, for example, and I shouldn't need an explanation, but these have been having a good few games. They make the camera saves. They make the ones that look great, and, they make the big leap and jumps, and it's very athletic, and they save points, don't get me wrong, but there's also many times where Alisson not only saves us points, but he helps our attack and play. He wins the ball back by catching the ball, opposed to making those weirdly crazy camera saves. He makes saves look easy, is the point that I'm trying to make. And then if you underestimate the kicking of Alisson and also the build-up play that he has on the ball, you see how many times he tries to skin a player. I understand the West Ham game, he made 1 or 2 mistakes. Last season when his father died, he had a poor period. Other than those 2 times, I can't think of when Alisson ever had a bad game for Liverpool, and that's been over seasons where we've accumulated a Premier League and a Champions League. So remember the question, Chelsea fans, before you start to cry your eyes out. Is Edouard Mendy overrated? For you to put him in the conversation with Alisson, the one and only Becker, then yes, that means that he's overrated. But he's still a great goalkeeper.
I think, it's a difficult one. Is he overrated? Perhaps a little bit. Still a very good goalkeeper and an absolutely great find by Chelsea, because look, Kepa did not work out, did it? Fair to say. None of us would have mentioned the name of Edouard Mendy if we were looking around Europe for a goalkeeper, so I've got to give them credit for unearthing a goalkeeper. But yeah, it's again been blown a little bit out of proportion. He hasn't been doing it at the top level long enough just yet.
Matip is better than Maguire.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to just adjust myself in the seat here.
Craig, we finishing because what the hell is this question? No, this is unpopular opinions. Like, what? That's too unpopular. Wait there, Matip's better than Maguire, or Maguire's better than Matip?
Matip is 100%.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Let me just double down on this, James. Free 80 million. Free 80 million. And I would dare to say that Matip has not made anywhere near the amount of errors that Maguire has made. And Matip is a better ball-playing centre-back. And the only thing that Maguire may have over Joe Matip is that I do believe that his head has its own life force, in that the ball does seem to be attracted to it from a corner. But even at that, baby giraffe's clear.
Sorry, Craig. I'm just finding the will to live. No, I can't find it, Craig. Sorry, I can't find it.
Look, I don't know. That this has to be bait, James. Yeah, surely it's bait.
And it's worked. It's pissed me off. Me. Matip is definitely better than Maguire. How dare that even be a question? Even though the unpopular opinion was Matip is better, it's still.
Yeah, Manchester United fans would even admit right now, surely those, and there are some good knowledgeable United fans around who do live on planet Earth, he's better than Maguire, he is. That's been a bit of fun, James, hasn't it? That's been a little bit of fun, and I think
it was emotional.
I think we will maybe cause a little bit of fuel on social media from a few people. I mean, you get clipped up enough as it is, mate, but there was a couple of little juicy morsels in there for people to chew on. So look,
listen, Craig, make sure you get them on Twitter, lad, because I want to get the debates going, and get them in the comments down below.
Let us know how much you agree with myself and James, because we were just spitting facts there, James. So yeah, we don't lie to the
spitting
people.
Like Eminem.
There you go. So let us know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and let us know how much better Joel Matip is than Harry Maguire.
Whoosh. That actually pissed me off. Even though he said Matip is better than Maguire, like, I was thinking, how dare that even?
The fact that someone thought it was unpopular, like.
Yeah. That was my problem.